Welcome back to the show, everybody. My name is Chance Vanek. I'm a 45-year-old Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, father, husband, blue-collar business owner, and real estate entrepreneur. All of that is fancy for I'm just a man trying to do my best and continue to grow, to become healthier, wealthier, wiser, and a little bit harder to kill, become a better version of myself so I can put it back out into the world and hopefully make this place a little bit brighter for everyone else around me to enjoy. And with that being said, you know, it takes a team. And over the years, I meet some really cool people, and that's what this show is. I just have conversations with some really cool people, and they share their stories, and hopefully you'll find something in these conversations that'll inspire you to, you know, be better yourself and put it back out there. So today, I want to welcome my good friend and striking coach, jiu-jitsu coach, all-around badass, Gil Guardado. You say it.
Guardado.
Guardado.
You wouldn't be the first person to mess up my last name. You wouldn't be the first person this week.
Oh, there you go. Well, this is, I'm filming episode 3 as of right now, and I have destroyed all 3 last names for every guest.
You're 3 for 3.
I'm 3 for 3, baby.
That's a win.
Perfect, yeah. Just like our first season when I was coaching my son's flag football team, perfect record. Yeah. 0 wins, 6 losses.
Hey, you know, if you're going to do something, you might as well do it all the way.
There you go, man. There you go. How you doing today, bud?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I just got done with a busy morning at the gym. Couple private sessions, semi-private sessions, group classes, MMA. Pretty tired and pretty hungry, but I've been looking forward to this all week, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I've been talking to you about this for a few weeks, and I'm glad we finally got to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry that you're hungry. If I would have known, I would have brought some food for you.
I'll live. Dude, I've been through many weight cuts in the last 25 years of my life. I can go a couple hours without eating. I'll live.
So Gil is a current strength and conditioning coach at Xtreme Couture, striking coach, jiu-jitsu coach. He does group classes, private classes. He's also the assistant manager over at Xtreme Couture. Mm-hmm. But his background, I believe, started in wrestling.
Yes.
High school wrestling.
That's right.
So that's where the weight cutting started.
Mm-hmm.
And then you went amateur fight and pro fighting in MMA, correct?
So I started wrestling when I was a sophomore. I was not an athlete growing up. I was a small, scrawny kid. I started doing martial arts like karate, and I started boxing just to learn self-defense principles when I was 11, 12 years old. I never competed at anything. I did like 1 season of youth basketball because my dad made me do it, and they just made me ride the bench the entire season, so we never did that again. And then when I got into high school, I just was naturally a really good endurance athlete. The coaches saw that when we did like our timed runs every week, I was just smoking everybody or doing more laps than everyone. So like, hey, you need to go out for track, and went out for track. And they were like, hey, you need to go out for cross country. And I did that too. And I met some guys on the cross country team who were also on the wrestling team, and they convinced me to go out for wrestling. Just everything about it. Like I compete one-on-one against guys my size in a weight class. Endurance athletes are, you know, they usually do pretty well in a sport like wrestling. Like if you can grind out a 15-mile run, you probably do okay in a wrestling match. You know? At least that's the way that they framed it to me. And being, 14, 15 years old, it makes sense. So I started wrestling, and I sucked. And I sucked for my sophomore year, and I sucked for my junior year. But I just kept training, and I kept working and growing into my body a little bit more. I worked my ass off this summer between my junior and senior year. I would wake up at 6 a.m. to go run with the cross-country team. Then we would lift for 30, 45 minutes after we ran. Then there was a 9 a.m. wrestling practice that I would go to. I'd go home, eat, shower, nap, and then I would run from my house back to the high school for the afternoon wrestling practice at like 3 in the afternoon. And from my house to the high school was exactly 3 miles. So I was getting 3 miles every day in the middle of summer in Southern California. And I did that the entire summer without telling anybody.
Okay.
And the wrestling coach noticed it. And the day that he noticed me doing it, he's like, what are you doing, man? It's like 105 degrees out here. Why? Oh, I've been running every day to practice, coach. He's like, yeah, but you run in the morning with the cross-country team too. Uh-huh. And you lift. Uh-huh. And you do the wrestling practice in the morning. Uh-huh. And you run here? Like, why are you running here? I'm like, oh, it's just my warm-up. I just want to make sure I'm ready to go by the time practice starts. Okay.
Did his eyes light up?
So then he made me go through the rest of the practice, and then at the end of that practice, he just decided to go over our lineups for the year. And when he got to the varsity 145 spot, he was like, "At varsity 145 is our new captain." I'm such an idiot at the time. I was like, "Who's taking my spot?" And then he's like, "Gil's going to be our captain 140." Everybody looked at me like, "Gil's going to be the captain?"
Oh, damn.
I was like, okay. Sure. I got up there, and I didn't know if I was ready for it or not, but you know, you put a challenge in front of me, I'm going to rise to the challenge. I rose up to it. In my senior year, I mean, I had a phenomenal senior year, wrestled 50-something matches, didn't get pinned out of, I don't know, a dozen losses maybe, you know.
That's awesome, man.
I went off to school, and then I actually went to an art school for a little while. And then, you know, long story short, my dad passed away at the time that I went to school. And then I started ditching art school and going to the beach because I was going to school in Santa Monica. So I was just go to the beach and messing around. I found a jiu-jitsu school.
Which jiu-jitsu school was this?
Street Sports Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In Santa Monica.
Yeah.
And I would just go in a couple days a week and roll with guys, and it was just fun. And then I decided I didn't want to waste any more of my parents' money, so I left the art school. I came back and started helping to coach my brother's high school team because he was going into the same team that I just graduated from. And I took over their strength and conditioning. That got me started in strength and conditioning, got certified after that. And then after jiu-jitsu got me into MMA, and the MMA carried me forward.
Boom, boom. So, man, how old were you when your father passed away?
I was 18.
That's got to be tough.
It was. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it was extremely tough.
So you were 18. How old was your father?
45.
Oh, that's my age.
Yep.
What happened? Do you, if you don't mind?
Dad was an alcoholic.
Oh, shit.
He lost his mother to cancer about 4 years prior. And she battled for a year and a half. They took her leg and part of her hip, and she fought her ass off. And my dad, who was her only son, did everything in his power that he could. I remember, you know, during that whole time she was sick, we would spend afternoons, most days out of the week, just at the hospital or at grandma's house, just spending time with her, which, looking back in hindsight, I'm glad that we got to do that. But at the time as a kid, it was just my entire middle school, you know, 7th and 8th grade, every afternoon we're with grandma.
Yeah.
Just kind of waiting.
Right.
And, you know, she succumbed and she fought her ass off, man. She really did. But my dad just couldn't process it.
Yeah.
And he had problems with substance abuse growing up. I didn't find all this out until after he passed, but he had some problems with substance abuse growing up. And he just kind of spiraled over the next 4 years. It sucked. And eventually his body just gave out on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't, like, I don't want to disparage him. My dad was actually my stepfather, and he was a good man.
Yeah.
He took me in, he raised me and my two brothers, and never treated any of us like we were less, or, you know, I was less his son than they were. And he was a good man, hardworking, blue-collar guy. He was a heavy equipment operator for a number of years for the city of West Covina. Always took care of business, always paid bills on time, stellar credit, just everything in his personal and social life, fantastic. Behind closed doors, he was struggling with a lot, and he just drank himself in a way that his body just gave up on him. I'm 45 years old.
Yeah. Dude, it happens.
It does.
And that's kind of what this is all about, man. Midlife Fight Club. Yes, all the guests so far have been involved in combat sports, but I think especially in middle age, all age, adversity does not discriminate, you know, happens at any age.
Yeah.
People struggle with things, and everyone's fighting a battle, man, and you just don't know.
I've had my own. I still have my own.
Yeah.
I've been pretty open about that with people, at least in one-on-one conversations.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, kind of early in the conversation for this, but my dad passed away at 45. My grandfather passed away at 45. He died of, I think it was an aneurysm. So they went very unexpectedly. But because they both went at 45, that's always kind of been buried in the back of my head, like, you have until 45. I don't know what's going to happen at 45, but it's always in the back of my head, like, you have until 45. I'm like, okay, I have until 45.
I'm 45.
Yeah.
Dude, I get it.
But it's motivating, though. But I don't say that to be morbid. I say that because it's like, it's the closer I get to it now, and the older I get, the more it makes me want to do more. It makes me want to be better at the things that matter. It makes me want to try new things, especially now that I have kids of my own and we're always trying new things anyway. It just makes me want to do those things. And just the older I get and the closer I get to that 45-year-old point, I find myself having a little bit more zest for life, I guess.
Yeah.
More than I've had at any other point in my life.
Yeah.
And I like it, man. I'm at a good point now where I have fun most days. I go into the gym and I play around most days. I get to teach people some cool stuff and show off, and it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. It sounds like a lot of fun. It's fun to watch you do it. It's fun to be on the receiving end of it. I'll tell you that. No, I totally get it, man. You know, Well, you're aware, my daughter is a pediatric cancer survivor.
Yes.
Adversity hit me at 39 years old. It hit her at 8 years old. She's 14 now, and she's thriving and healthy.
Awesome.
But it was very tough. And I've always been I love to drink beer. I've always loved to drink beer. But it started to get away from me, spending countless nights in the hospital while she's just laying in a bed. My wife and I would rotate on basically 24-hour shifts. And, just started drinking way too much beer. Wasn't going to the gym because of the fact that she was very immune compromised through the treatment she had, and I didn't want to bring anything home. And then once she was, deemed by the doctors healthy enough to go back to school, she went back to school. And then 2 weeks later, the schools closed down for COVID. So we go right back into lockdown, and then it just became this 24-hour-a-day party of hanging out around the house, drinking beers, and just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Turns into over 4 years of not training. I was up to 215 pounds. Right now I'm 196.
Yeah.
And it's funny though, because people have this, I'm going to call it a stigma of, I would get so many compliments like, Jesus, what are you doing? You look great. Because I was very lean when I was training previously, because I was training way too much and my nutrition was poor. So I was only like 185 pounds. So this 10 pounds is very healthy for me.
Okay.
But when they saw me at 215, they thought I was jacked and like in the best shape of my life. And I was in the worst shape of my life. You know what I'm saying? And then right around the time you met me, I was struggling getting back in the gym. I would show up occasionally for jiu-jitsu, and I'm a longtime friends with Eric Nixick, and he reached out. He's like, dude, how come you're not training? And I was like, dude, I'm just having, a hard time figuring it out.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to get in the gym. I was like, dude, I don't know if I want to roll anymore. He's like, try kickboxing. I was like, oh, I thought about it. He's like, get your ass in the gym. And I didn't show up. And 2 weeks later, he's like, get your ass in the gym. And I've been in the gym ever since, man. And meeting a lot of cool people, and I'm learning a lot of cool things. And I'm learning new things, and I'm getting my zest back for life.
Awesome.
And honestly, I feel like, don't laugh because you're an athlete, but I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life now.
Great.
Yeah, my conditioning is amazing. I'm rolling really hard. I'm learning new things in my kickboxing. But like that Jeff, who was on the podcast 2 days ago, that dude his conditioning is off the charts.
Yeah,
dude.
he's in great shape.
You have to murder him to get him to stop. Like, I will be on top of him and he will not stop fighting, where most other people will just give up and put an arm out like, okay, let's stop this round. That dude will not stop.
He's game. I've watched him roll before in the gym, and I've seen him do his conditioning workouts. Yeah, he's in phenomenal shape.
He's in great shape. And for me to be able to keep up with him and sometimes win, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with myself at 45 years old. But one thing that makes me very, very happy right now is like being able to do things with my kids, like coaching the baseball team and being able to sit in the catcher position and catch balls and jump up and throw the ball. Yeah. Like, holy shit.
And I feel like your knees are going to explode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But dude, that's amazing to me, because I look around at some of the other dads and dude, I'm not putting anyone down, but they're probably younger than me, because I guess I had kids later in life. And there's no way they could do that.
Oh, dude, I'm already seeing it with some of my friends, and you guys are going to see this, and you're probably going to think I'm talking about you. And if you think I'm talking about you, I probably am. I got buddies back home, man, that are the same age as me, or maybe even a little bit younger, and they don't spend any time in the gym at all. And the differences in their bodies and what their capabilities are, yeah, man, they're starting to, oh, my back, my knees, my neck, my this, my that. And then they watch me on Instagram deadlifting, 400-something pounds. They're like, how did you not hurt your back? That hurts my back watching you do it. I'm like, not me. I'm fine. I'm going to do it again next week.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. And I'm not knocking it. If you're happy that way, good for you.
Absolutely.
But most importantly for me, or the most beneficial thing for me being in the gym, is my mental health.
Yes.
Because when I miss the gym, man, I start getting all screwed up here. Like, I was a mess when you first met me, because I hadn't been in the gym. We just went through hell with my family. Very grateful for where we're at today. But dude, I was struggling hard, man, and thank God for fight gyms.
Absolutely, man.
I don't know if I'd be here.
It's one of those, like, going back to what you were saying about how, like, when you were at your biggest and people were just thinking you were jacked. I just had this conversation with my members at the gym, because I always try to share a perspective with them that's probably a little bit outside of what the normal, like, fitness influencer perspective is. I've been in the fitness industry now for over 20 years. I hate the fitness industry. I cannot stand the industry as a whole. I love my job. I love what I do. I love the process of helping people become better versions of themselves, whatever that means for them, not for me, for them. I love the process. I love being able to help people do things that they didn't, that they weren't able to do or didn't think that they could do. I love everything about it. The industry as a whole, goddamn nightmare. Hate the industry as a whole.
Oh.
So I try to share different perspectives with people when I'm teaching my classes and stuff, because I get a lot of the same, you know, one of my members remarked on somebody that was in the gym and talked about, oh my God, they look so great. They're so skinny and they're so this and they're so that, you know, I want to look like them. And I'm like, do you have any idea what's going on with that person?
Right.
And like, no, I was like, neither do I.
Right.
But that's the idea.
Right.
Let me give you an example. A trainer that I follow on Instagram, her name is Molly Galbraith. I don't know her personally or anything like that. She posts amazing content that's mostly geared towards middle-aged women and postpartum fitness and stuff like that. She lost her sister a couple years ago.
Okay.
And as a result, lost a ton of weight because of stress and not sleeping and not eating and stuff like that. And she shared her story about how people were remarking all the time, oh my God, you look amazing. You've lost so much weight. What's your secret? What's your plan? What's your this and that? And she got to a point that she was low enough. She's like, oh, thanks. My sister died.
Oh.
That's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Shuts conversations down immediately,
Right.
obviously. But I share those stories with my members to let them know, like, what you see on the outside isn't all that matters. And it's not all that matters to everybody. I'm in pretty decent shape. I don't work out to look a certain way. Everything that I do for fitness now is to be as capable as I can be for as long as possible. And that's to play with my kids, to protect my family, to be able to do the stuff that I do in the gym. I want to be as useful and as hard to kill for as much of my life as I possibly can. The way that I look is a byproduct of that. I have zero concern about my appearance, because I know that if I'm doing the things that I should be doing to be able to do the things that I want to do, this is going to take care of itself. Some point I'm going to get old, and no matter what I do, it's going to look saggy and old and wrinkly anyway. I'm not worried about that right now. I want to worry about being as capable as I can be for as long as possible. That's it.
Boom. That was amazing. That was amazing, dude. If you're not living by that mantra right there, when you're in the gym, you're doing it wrong.
Dude,
at least that's my opinion right now.
One of my favorite quotes is about that. Buddy of mine, Madrid. I don't know if you know Madrid.
I do know Madrid.
So Madrid has been helping me a lot lately with videos and pictures for my social media, and I love his style and the way that he do things, because it's very in line with what I want kind of my presentation to be. And he just did a video for me that I haven't posted yet. I'll probably post it today. And it's a video of me coaching in the gym with various people and various things, strength and conditioning and kickboxing and grappling. And there's a voiceover of Jeff Goldblum when he did an appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and he was reciting a quote by George Bernard Shaw. This is the true joy in life. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you know that quote.
I love it. I've seen that clip.
My absolute favorite quote for years, to the point where I go back and I'll listen to it all the time to remind myself of why I'm doing this crap in the first place. Right. And a big part of that quote that stands out to me is I want to be thoroughly used up when I die. I really feel like acts of service is why I'm supposed to be here in any capacity, whether it's to my members or to my clients or to my wife or to my children or to my family. I'm always at my peak, at least in my own head, when I'm of service to other people. And I want to be as thoroughly used up and capable as I can be until the day that I die.
Okay. Chills down my back when you said that. 100%. I love that, and I 100% agree with you. That's what we're put here for, man. Like, so many people are trying to me.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I need this, I need that. Take care of me. I need to buy this, buy that. I'll be happy once I get this. You never will find the happiness that you're seeking until you start helping others, man.
Absolutely.
I 100% agree with you.
I learned that a long time ago, and especially some of the biggest influences in my life and people that helped me along the way, they were just such giving people, and they gave more of themselves than they probably should have, but they didn't know how to do it any other way.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they didn't do that in every aspect of their life, just their ability to step outside of themselves and do something right for another person just because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It rubs off on you.
Yeah.
And you hope it rubs off on more people the more that you kind of pay it forward. But I don't do it for any sense of reward or nothing like that. I know It's kind of selfish. I know I'm in a better mental space.
Dude, I was going to say
it's kind of selfish.
I do it out of selfishness.
I know I'm in a better mental space when I feel like I'm being useful.
Bro.
But if I can be as useful as possible to more people and that makes their lives better and they can hopefully in some way pay it forward to other people, bro, I don't need to change the world, man. I just need to affect the circles around me.
I've said this before. You're like the nicest guy I know. Why? Why are you that way? Why are you that way? It's out of selfishness, really, if you look at it, because it makes me feel good.
It makes me feel better.
It makes me feel good.
I'll be honest with that. Yes,
you know?
Absolutely it does. But if it helps other people too, I think it's a win-win.
Yeah, yeah. And you're familiar with Gary Vaynerchuk, the social media dude?
Love Gary V.
And he's been talking a lot this week about the quote, nice guys finish last, and how much bullshit that is.
Yes.
And because of that, I don't know when that came into play, what year it was, but I've always been a nice guy. And that's why I got into martial arts, because people would mistake that kindness for weakness.
Yep. And
I mean, sure, you can be tough, but if you're not trained, you're likely not going to be tough enough.
Yeah.
So now I'm the baddest nice guy you ever met.
That's what I'm trying to be. I try to hide it, man. Like, I'll go out. I don't go out as much as I used to, even to like family functions and stuff. I'm married with 3 kids, so like full time at the gym. Trying to get out and be social is harder and harder right now. I know eventually it'll open up again, right? But the times where I would go out somewhere, if we go anywhere that we don't know people and they don't know what I do, I'll tell my friends and my family, like, do not tell people what I do.
Right.
I'm a nobody. I'm a construction worker or a janitor somewhere. Like, I don't train at a gym. I don't train people. I don't fight. Don't tell them what I do.
Right.
Because then you either get people who want to talk your ear off about the sport, and some of them are cool and you have interesting conversations. Some of them it's just like, what do you think about Conor McGregor? I'm like, I don't know Conor. But then you get those small percentage of people, and I've had experiences with these two where guys just want to size you up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, oh, you think you could take somebody like me? And you're just like, let me just back over, like, hey, you look like you're a big, tough guy. Like, I'm sure you'd be tough. You'd be a challenge. It's like, no, man, you don't understand. You don't know my mentality. I'm like, oh, my God, here we go. And then eventually I get to a point where it's like, you think you could take a guy like me? I'm like, yep. Yes, I could. I'll tell you exactly how I'll do it, and I'll tell you about how long it's going to take me.
Yeah.
That usually doesn't sit well with people.
That is so awesome.
Oh.
That is so awesome. It's so true, though. Now, granted, obviously, there are some maybe rare circumstances where they might get an upper hand, but odds are a trained killer.
Yeah. Odds are in the favor of the person who trains.
And I don't even know what the odds are. I think the Gracies talk about it a lot. Like, a blue belt in jiu-jitsu would be a very dangerous person to an untrained person. Someone who trains boxing for 2-3 years. Because I think Madrid, he's like 5 years in on his boxing.
Something like that, yeah.
I've never seen him train, but I was just speaking with him yesterday. We were talking about the podcast because he watched Jeff's episode. He said he loved it. And I was telling him you were coming on. He can't wait to see it. But he's like, yeah, I've only been doing it for 5 years. I'm like, bro, that's a long time, man. Yeah. Like, you're probably a damn good boxer.
He is a good boxer. I've sparred with him before.
Yeah.
He's tough.
Yeah.
He's tough as hell. He's game. He'll spar with just about anybody. There's some technical nuance and conditioning stuff that, he could be better at. But his ability to just be able to bite down and go forward, it's something you can't really teach people how to do.
Yeah.
And he does have technique and he does have power. He's a tough go, man. If you ever get a chance to spar with him, he's a lot of fun to spar with. I love Madrid, man. He's such a nice guy. He's a genuinely passionate person. He's got a self-deprecating sense of humor. He'll make fun of himself and allow other people to make fun of him because he knows it's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
He's a good hang, man. I like that guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of the guy I met today, the kid I met today, 15 years old at Teriyaki Madness. Mm-hmm. I was blown away by this kid, and I can't remember his name, something Morales. But I was walking in, so through the reflection in the glass, I could see him in the back, like cleaning tables. Little dude, little 15-year-old kid. He sees me. He stops what he's doing. He goes to the register as I'm walking in. That happens nowhere anymore, right? Mm-hmm. They wait for you to get to the register, and then they're still back there talking to their friends on their phone or whatever. Yep. So he does this, and I get there. He's like, hello, sir. How can I help you? I was like, okay.
Cool.
Okay. And he's short and young, baby face. I was like, I'm going to do this. And okay, sir. Would you like this? Yes. I go, excuse me, how old are you? He's like 15. I go, oh, damn. You got a worker's permit? He's like, yes, sir.
Nice.
I was like, wow, that's so awesome, man. I was like, how do you get here? And he's like, huh? Like, this is kind of weird. I was like, I'm just curious. Like, how do you get here?
Yeah.
He's like, my mom drives me here. I was like, dude, that is so awesome. And then I was just blown away by how professional he was, how on top of it he was.
Yes.
And I was complimenting him, and I said, dude, what do you think you want to do in the future when you get out of school and stuff for money? He's like, sir, I'm training to be a professional football player. I was like, bro, what was your name again? He told me his name, which I forgot. I'm going to have to go back and get it. I know it's Morales.
We'll have to go get some more teriyaki madness later.
Fernando Morales? I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I said, okay, dude, 8 to 10 years, I'll be watching the NFL looking
Hell
for you, bro.
yes.
But I was blown away at how he saw me coming and came to take care of business with me.
Yeah.
You don't get that anymore anywhere else.
That's someone who gives a shit.
Hell yes.
Yeah, and that's awesome. You know, dude, anything that you do, if you do it 100% to the best of your ability, you show a little bit of kindness and a little bit of humility and some professionalism, you can go pretty far.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure, man. For sure.
Good luck to him.
Good luck to him. I wish him the best. Okay, so we talked about a little bit of your work, a little bit of your history in combat sports, just a little bit. We talked about wrestling and you training in the gym.
About wrestling, how I got into it.
Yeah. But as a father, you have 3 children, right?
I do.
You hit the double whammy on the first one. You got the twins
Yeah,
on the first
man.
one.
We came out the gate swinging.
Oh, dude. I couldn't imagine having 2 at once.
Dude, it's just more.
Right.
That's it. It's the same thing because I had twins the first time out. I had boy-girl twins. They're 6 years old now, and I have an 18-month-old daughter now. And it's the same with the 18-month-old as it was with the twins. Just with the twins, it was 2 of everything. It's 2 diaper changes, 2 feedings, 2 naps. Like, you try to do your best to do it simultaneously. Sometimes it gets away from you. You know, one goes down for a nap, the other one's waking up, you know. It's just a lot. Funny little story about this. So anyone who hasn't heard this one, my wife and I have been married for a little over 7 years. We've been together much longer than that, right? So when we got married, our hashtag for our wedding was Gil and Judy finally, because we had already been together off and on for 15 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
By the time we got married. So everyone was like, finally, you guys are getting married, right? So we ran with it. We made it our thing. We're at the wedding. My wife's doing her wedding vows, and she's speaking from the heart. Didn't write anything down, nothing. And she is boo-hooing her way through her wedding vows. Come to find out later that her and her bridesmaids downed an entire bottle of Don Julio 1942 before the wedding started. So they were pretty sauced up during the wedding. I didn't know that until afterwards. Anyway, she's boo-hooing her way through her wedding vows and saying some beautiful, sweet things and almost making me cry. And then she just bursts out laughing in the middle of her vows and says in front of 170 guests, I love you so damn much, I want to have like 14 of your babies. And everyone just started laughing. I looked at my guests, and I looked at the guy who was officiating our wedding. I looked at my watch. I'm like, hey, Phil, can we? I got somewhere to be. She got pregnant almost immediately after the wedding, and it's twins. Not only is it twins, it's boy-girl twins. My coach, Ron Frazier, at the gym, who was he played a role in my wedding. It was like a godfather role. It's a Mexican wedding tradition that my wife wanted. Anyway, he played a pretty prominent part in the wedding. And he's like, wow, your wife wasn't kidding when she said you want to have a 14-year baby. I didn't know she wanted to have them all at the same time. You know what? If we're going to go big.
That's awesome,
might
dude.
Might as well get going.
175 people at the wedding?
170, yeah.
Dude, that's huge.
A lot of friends and family.
Where was that at?
California, in Chino Hills, California.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a huge
Country
wedding,
club
man.
out there. Beautiful place.
Nice.
It was a beautiful wedding, man.
Yeah.
It was a great day.
What year was that?
2017.
2000. What day?
That was April 9th.
Okay. Spring wedding.
Because I have to think about that because we have 2 anniversaries in April. We have our wedding anniversary and our dating anniversary, and they're very close together.
What's the
April
dating?
9th was the wedding anniversary, and April 11th is the dating anniversary.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. She's cool.
So you got 3 kids. So
I
now
do.
you got 11 more to go.
Ha! I'm done. I'm done. Yeah.
Does she know that?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a mutual decision.
Oh, did you have the surgery?
About to.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
that's coming
are.
up.
Uh-oh. I don't know if I want to have this discussion because my wife will see this, and she's been urging me to do this for the
It's
past few
coming up.
years.
I would love to have more children, and I would love to have them with my wife. Like, I'd never imagined having children with any other person except this woman.
Yeah.
But 3 is a lot, and, you know, financial situation and also planning ahead. What do we want the next 3 to 5 years to look like? Do we want to be continuing to be in this process of raising children, which I love my babies more than anything on the planet. It's a lot, like any parent knows, right? We've got a beautiful family. I have a son and 2 daughters that are just incredible human beings. I would love to have more of them, but certain circumstances and our situation in life right now, it's like, okay, we've got a really solid family. We're healthy and we're good. And now we can start to kind of grow into the next phases of life. I think we're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're done too. Yeah. Two's good for me. Two's good for me.
I was kind of hoping for twins on the second.
Oh, really?
I was.
What are the odds of that?
I was like, you know what? Let's just get 4 kids in 2 tries, and then we're done.
Boom. I mean, what are the odds of twins in the first place? And then to get twins and twins?
I thought it was impossible, and then my wife gets pregnant with twins, and I was confused. I was like, there's no twins in my family. What the hell just happened? And she was like, oh, yeah, there's like 7 sets of twins on my mom's side. I've known you for, at the time, you know, I've known her for 16 years now. I'm like, I've known you for 16 years. You never told. She's like, I'm pretty sure I told you. Nuh-uh. I would have remembered that.
That is awesome, man.
So then we had twins the first time, and then she gets pregnant again, and I was like, it's going to be twins. I'm just going to convince myself, no, it's 2. I know it's 2. It's going to be 2. And they're like, yep, you're only having 1. It's a girl. I was like, check again. The other one's hiding. I know the other one's hiding in there.
Flip her over.
Turn her around. Well, that's what happened with the twin. Okay, so when we went to the first ultrasound appointment after she had the first positive pregnancy test in the first pregnancy, they do the ultrasound, and there was 2 spaces on the ultrasound. And I'm not an ultrasound tech. I don't know how to actually read those things, right? But there was 2 very distinct spaces. And my brain, being an artist, my brain just starts thinking 3-dimensionally, like, what the hell is going on in there? Not only is there 2 spaces, but there's only 1 visible embryo. But then when they move the stick for the ultrasound, that embryo disappears, and the other one in the other space appeared. And so I asked the doctor, I was like, what is that? And the doctor was like, well, see that line right here? And then he starts listing off a dozen things that it could be that could possibly kill my wife.
Oh, gosh.
We changed doctors shortly after that. And then he's like, but I mean, it also, you know, maybe it could be twins. I was like, and then my wife was like, how? And then I'm Google searching. I'm looking for images that are similar. And I was like, you know what I think it is? I think because they're so small, he moves the stick. He can see one at a time. You move it to the other side, and the other one's hiding on the other side. Sure enough, that's exactly what it was.
Wow.
So when my wife gets pregnant again, they were like, oh, it's only 1. I was like, no. Check again. Just move.
Turn her over. Move the stick.
Move the stick.
Move the stick.
It's like moving the antenna on an old TV. Just shake it around a little bit.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Shake it around. Just, you hit the bed.
Like a magic game. It's in there somewhere. Like a
when
prize at the bottom of the cereal box.
Yes. When we went for the ultrasound to find the sex of the baby, we brought our daughter, and she was, how old was she? 6, 7? No, she was like 7. And we're all sitting there, and, you know, he's doing the thing. He's like, all right, you're having a boy. We're like, oh. And my daughter, she's quiet. We turn around, and we look at her. She's like, no.
Oh, she wasn't happy.
I don't want a brother. She starts screaming, crying. I want a sister.
Yeah.
We just told my son that story the other night. He looked at her like, what?
Why? Funny enough, the imaging place that we got our 3D ultrasounds done is like in this complex.
Oh, really?
It's like a couple buildings
down.
that's
funny.
Yeah, I was noticing that as I drove up. Yeah, when my twins found out we were having another one, they both wanted a little sister, and they got a little sister. Yeah, so they were both happy.
All right.
Yeah.
Man, special kids. They can they wheel me a few $1 million?
I'm asking them to do the same thing for me. I'll joke around with them sometimes, or they'll, you know, they're at that age now. They're 6 years old, and they're like, "Daddy, I'm bored." I'm like, "I can help you find a job if you want, man. Like,
Right.
Go make some money. Start a YouTube channel. Something.
There you go. I know. That's what I tell my daughter. That. I said, dude, you have a phone, iPhone 14. Like, make a video. Come on, post it. Let's go. Dude, she went viral on my account one time on Instagram. Yeah, she's got like 1.4 million views on it.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And then people started redoing it, like taking it, and they put like the little video of like a video game playing under it.
Yeah.
We've come across like 3 or 4 more with like 4 or 5 million views on them.
Yeah, it's weird that people do that. They'll like take the original video and then put something else under it that has nothing to do with the
Yeah, it's
video.
usually like a video game, or like a car
It's just like
jumping.
it's like a video stitch, but it doesn't even matter what you put in the
Right.
stitch. It's just that original piece of content that matters.
So
it's weird.
Yeah, we were at John Cutter's. Do you know the
John
bar?
Cutter's, yeah. Love that place.
It was Saturday night. They had the steak and lobster special for $19. Nice little plug for them.
Yeah.
Which, without the owner of John Cutter's, the UFC would not exist. I just learned that today. Did you know that?
I'd heard something about this before.
Yeah. So the owner, Adam Corrigan, used to drive Dana White to school every day, and Dana never forgot that. And of course, he had this, what do you call it, like a blanket, saying like, anyone invites me to a wedding, I'm not going. I'm not going to the wedding.
Yeah.
Well, Adam invites him to his wedding. Well, if I'm going to anyone's wedding, it's Adam's, because Adam had money. I didn't. He would always come pick me up to take me to school. So he goes. They were all at Gorman. He goes to the wedding. He sees Lorenzo Fertitta. He's like, oh, I heard you're doing boxing coaching. I want to come train with you. Comes into the gym on Monday. Boom. They never stopped working together since.
That just set the table.
Boom. Yeah.
Never know, man.
So her video is, we're at John Cutter's. Mm-hmm. We're having steak and lobster, and they give the kids these little wax sticks. You bend them and make little shapes and stuff.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that. Something for the kids to play with. Yeah.
She was like 13. So she makes it. Of course, it looks like a penis and balls. And she's like, Daddy, look what I made.
Classic.
And I'm like, and she's like, what? And then she turns it over. She's like, glasses. Like, so I post that, and we're kind of laughing. And it was actually right around this time, a few weeks before 4th of July. And, it got like 1,000 views, and my friends laughed at it.
Yeah.
And then we're down in summer vacation in Newport Beach, and I wake up one morning and my phone is like shaking. This is like 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
And it went viral, dude.
It just blew up.
For like the next 7 days, just likes and comments and likes and people messaging me. It was so sweet, though. There was a little bit of hate, like, oh, what is this? This girl.
Yeah, there's always that.
And I would just delete them immediately, wouldn't even say anything. But I got like probably 20 messages of people like, oh my God, I love your daughter. She seems so sweet, so cool. I want to be her friend. Please have her make more videos. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social media is crazy, man.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
It is. But let's go back to the art. You said you went to art school.
I did.
Where?
I went to the Art Institute in Santa Monica.
In Santa Monica.
Which is closed now.
What is your medium?
I was a graphic design and illustration major.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Mostly
cool.
pen and ink medium, but I worked with color, and then I would also do things with Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator.
Oh.
I was an artist growing up. Like I said, I was a weaker, frailer kid growing up. I was totally content to just sit in my room and play video games and read comic books and draw. My parents had to like force me outside to get me to be physically active with the other kids. I didn't really pick up on sports until I was already in high school, I would go out and play with my friends. Like riding bikes was always our thing. So we'd go on big, long bike rides and stuff. And, we'd ride our bikes to the store to get snacks and things like that. I'd ride my bike to and from school. That was the majority of my physical activity growing up until I got into track and cross country and wrestling. So my whole life growing up, I started drawing when I was like 2 years old. It was just a natural thing that came for me. And it just... I don't want to say I got pigeonholed into it, but it was something that my family just kind of like identified me as I was growing up. Like, oh, Gilbert's the artist. And that's what he does. He's going to be an artist when he grows up. And growing up, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work for Disney, and I wanted to do all sorts of cool shit. I wanted to maybe design video games and stuff like that. So, fast forward, I'd already become a tri-sport athlete in high school, and I was into wrestling. I went to junior college at Mount San Antonio College, Mount Sac. And I joined the wrestling team there. I made the first string wrestling team there. But before our season started, I talked to my guidance counselor at the school, and she told me that the credits that I was going to get at Mount Sac wouldn't transfer over to the school I wanted to go to, which was the Art Institute.
Yeah.
That was real disheartening to hear. So she's like, why don't you just go ahead and apply now and see what happens? Show me your portfolio. There's tons of student aid and stuff out there. Check it out. I applied and I got in.
Nice.
And it was awesome. So then I moved. I started going to the school, and I was commuting on the bus, which was an hour and a half, 2 hours each way.
Every day?
Yeah, I was going from West Covina, California, where I grew up, into downtown Los Angeles, and then transferring from the Metro bus from LA to the Big Blue bus that would take me to Santa Monica.
Where was the campus in Santa Monica?
It was It was on the side of Santa Monica that was near Culver City.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget exactly what streets it was on. It was like Ocean and 29th or something
Okay.
like that. And I started commuting, and then around the time is when Dad's health started to falter. And, you know, I'm a young kid, and I don't know how to deal with it and how to process it. And, of course, I think, like, it's not my problem. So I decided to move into student housing, and I left.
Okay.
Out. And then a few weeks later, Dad went, and then that just kind of wrecked all the plans I had. Not only that, but I also like got a closer look at the art industry once I got to that school, and I didn't realize how much of a grind it was. And I'm used to a grind, but the payoff for what they like, maybe it was just the instructors I had, but the way that they were framing what a career in art was going to look like after we left that school, it just seemed very, very not what I wanted to do.
Interesting.
And, you know, so it was just kind of this perfect storm of crap circumstances where, like, I had bad teachers who pretty much, like, killed my motivation to do that. And then Dad's death was a huge hit. And then not being active anymore. After being active for so many years in track and cross country and wrestling, not being able to do that anymore, I just started ditching school and going to the gym.
No shit.
That's really what I started. I started going to jiu-jitsu, and I started going to the beach and, like, swimming and running and working out at Muscle Beach in Venice. And, yeah, I just started gravitating more towards exercise. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to waste any more money at this art school. And then I left, and, you know,
There you go.
we had to start over. But
You became a martial artist.
It worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still an artist, but
There you go.
different canvas.
With your fists.
People's faces. Yeah.
That's an awesome story, man.
I still love art. My wife's an artist.
Is she?
She's a working artist. She does digital and traditional media.
Okay.
I bought her an iPad during the pandemic because she had always wanted to learn digital art for years. So I bought her an iPad and Procreate, and she just started just deep diving into YouTube videos about how to use it. And she got very, very proficient with it.
Oh, wow.
Some of the things that she creates are just absolutely
What does
gorgeous.
What does she make?
She does a lot of portrait work
Okay.
and a lot of flora work that she incorporates into the portrait work. She just launched this thing recently where she has a Patreon account. If you go to her Instagram, Pixels and Paintbrushes, there's a link to the Patreon. For $5 a month, people subscribe, and she sends out a postcard design every month.
Oh, wow.
It's a printed postcard, and she found a beautiful company that prints out these amazing postcards. They have this very velvety texture. The printing's gorgeous. But she designs a new card every month and sends them out to people along with some stickers. And I think she's going to start doing, like, handwritten messages on the cards for people as well. My house looks the way it does. My house is beautifully decorated, and it has absolutely nothing to do with me. My house, if it wasn't for my wife, my house would just be a box where I keep all my shit. She's an incredible artist, and I love that she will still from time to time come up to me and ask for a second opinion from me because she knows my background. And anytime I get to be hands-on with her artwork and just have a little bit of input, again, just that life comes out of me. It's like, oh, this is amazing.
That's
I remember
awesome.
why I love this stuff in the first place. But she's often running with it and creating amazing stuff, and I can't wait to see where she goes with
Paintbrushes and pixels?
that. Pixels and Paintbrushes.
Oh, pixels and paintbrushes
Yeah.
on Instagram.
She's also a
Check it out.
bartender, and she's kind of gravitating more towards, like, craft cocktail bartending. So, like, artistry with drinks and stuff like that. And it's kind of something I'm kind of pushing her towards because she's such a good bartender and such a hard worker. The work ethic of this woman is incredible. And anytime that she hyperfixates on something that she wants to get better at, she's going to get better at it, and she's going to become amazing at it. She always has. So I tell her, I'm like, well, in addition to art, you could maybe also go into independent bartending, craft bartenders. I send her accounts of, like, craft bartenders that are making, like, artistry out of their bartending skills just for Instagram's sake, basically. And I send her all this time. I'm like, you could absolutely do this stuff. Not only that, but she's drop dead gorgeous, so she could do that too.
Look at you, man. Score.
Yeah.
How's her cooking?
Amazing.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Now, you said she's, what, first generation
Mexican.
Mexican. Look at that.
Yeah.
My grandfather was from Mexico.
Yeah?
Yeah, on my mom's side.
Nice. I have a lot of Mexican ancestry on my mom's side. Like I said, my father, who passed away, he was my stepfather. My biological father, I don't know much about him. He was 50% Italian. So I'm actually 25% Italian.
Okay.
Like 40% Native and South American, and the rest of it's, like, broadly Southern European. I'm a hodgepodge.
Hodgepodge.
I'm a mutt. I'm okay with it. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. This was so much fun. I don't want to keep you too long, though. We've already been in here recording for 46 minutes, and we talked for about 15 minutes prior. And I know you haven't eaten yet.
I haven't, but you know what? I've forgotten about that. It's nice to just kind of talk and share stories. Like I'm able to share bits of myself in conversations with people like this, but it's usually not in front of a camera where other people can see it.
Yeah.
And I like sharing stories about myself because I like people to kind of understand my thought process. It's a whole psychological thing that I'm learning about, right? But I never really felt understood as a kid, so now I tend to over-explain things. I've probably done it a lot on this podcast, right? But now I do it in a way that I hope that people can learn something from it. I hope that maybe some of the hard lessons and some of the hard experiences that I've had, and there's been a lot, that people can learn something from them and not repeat similar mistakes. You know, I hope people can learn that even when you go through a lot of bullshit, like I did in my teen years and my early 20s, that there's always a way forward.
Yeah.
There's always a way out. There's always people around you that care. There's always people around you that want to help, that want you to be better. And if I can show them that firsthand and they can go off and be that for other people, then I love sharing those parts of myself with other people in the hopes that it creates some good, at least in the micro.
Yeah.
Hopefully that affects the macro in a bigger way.
That's what's up. Yeah. Midlife Fight Club. You're not alone out there. We fight together. Boom. Well, dude, hopefully we can do this again.
I hope so.
Awesome,
this was fun.
Man. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Gil, what's your Instagram?
Gil, Gil _ Guardado, Guardado.
Everyone knows how to spell that.
Everyone knows how to spell it. Pretty easy to find. All my social media handles are pretty much the same. It's just my first and last name. A lot of strength and conditioning stuff, a lot of MMA stuff. Every now and then some stuff about my wife, my kids, my dogs, you know.
But more to come because you're going to get better on the social media.
Absolutely.
We're all working to get better on social media.
I'm going to try.
It is the future, and the future is now.
Yes.
Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, see you at the top. Peace.